just going to get right back into it. My next question for you basically is, everybody knows you're big.
Yep.
Everybody knows you got some muscle on you.
Mm-hmm.
And people, I'm telling you, literally, when I have people come watch and I'm not the one fighting,
Yeah.
they're like, who the fuck is that?
Right.
They're like, what does he do? So I'm like, yeah, he trains like all the time, like an animal. That's what happens, right? And not, now you can train like an animal all the time. I generally have.
I can give you that origin too.
I generally have in my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But where I was lacking was the nutrition all the time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
wrestlers, we don't barely eat, and then, you know, my diet's all jacked up. You have had diet on lock for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So between the lifting and the diet, how did you get to where you are? And you've actually gotten smaller since I've known you. Not to say slow.
Yeah.
But because of fighting.
Because of fighting.
When you first walked in, you were just this, like, muscle and muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have the perfect muscle for your fight weight. So how did you get to that big? And then how did you get to where you are now from that big?
Okay, so I'll start with the origin. The
Please.
origin was, like I said, it came time to make the decision, like, okay, I'm going to join the wrestling team.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a few months before that happens.
Yeah.
So I think I was about 141, and this is like right after fighting in terms of boxing.
Okay.
And this is the summer, and I didn't speak to anybody that whole summer, like in contact with my best friend Bill and things like that. So I started to see what like Fedor was doing, GSP was doing, things like that. So I started incorporating my own thing. I didn't have jump rope, so what I would do in my basement go like this for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So like just a mindset type deal. And then went to go get some weights from like Walmart, and just never set it up for like a month. So I had like less than 3 months to really get to where I wanted to get in context.
Okay.
So then at one point I just decided to fix it. So I think my mom was like, yo, Bill's here. My best friend Bill's here. You guys are out here playing the game or something like that. Go downstairs and fix the weights.
Set it up.
Yeah, set it up. So we set it up, and I just had like a wobbly bench. But we had a bench. You could squat with it. You could clean with it. You know what I mean? I didn't know any of it though. Like in terms of like cleaning, I thought I made like workouts up when I was down there.
Yeah.
So then I made basically like a structure, like circuits for myself. And I was trying to hit numbers like 50, 60, 70. And I basically did that every single day. So the only day I probably didn't do it was Sunday, and I still probably did it like in the morning if I decided to do it.
For 3 months.
Yeah, for about 3 months.
And then wrestling season comes around. And what?
And then wrestling season.
Pack it on. You were bigger.
I was about 168. So I was like 141 to like 168. That was water every day. It sounds crazy. It was oatmeal, condensed milk, because I like sugar.
Okay.
I just put it in the deal.
Yeah.
Mixed even more milk in it. Drank it. Chicken, like Nigerian culture, it's like chicken, goat, just all the stuff I'd eat, like jollof rice, things like that.
Okay.
So getting up to like 168, and I think that the big thing that helped me push in terms of just like, this is almost like your brain, how your brain expands, called neuroplasticity. The same way where it's like, yeah, you can learn and read, and it's like, yeah, your brain soaks it up, but then there's a point where like you cannot like focus on what you're reading, right? But you can still read and be like, yo, I'm trying to comprehend every single little detail. Your brain, you literally feel your brain almost pushing against your fucking skull. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with your body. You got to push limits.
Yes.
So,
Tear muscle.
Yeah.
Like,
so
really.
fast forward to like after a match. Between the match, in the middle of the match, I'm thinking like, damn, I still got to go lift. Damn, I still got to go do the conditioning in my basement.
Yeah.
Like, and then it got to a point where after my first year, I got down to back down to 146.
Okay.
Wrestling 152.
So you went from 141 to 168,
to
cut weight to 152 from whatever. And then wrestling there.
But then I kept losing weight.
Why?
That was the nutrition aspect. I didn't feel like eating.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that I was like quote unquote overtraining.
Overtraining.
So I think I had like sports induced anemia. Right. So like it was really crazy. Like I would try to force myself to eat ramen noodles every day, like 4 packs of it, and then like fall asleep to it. Yeah, crazy. The soy, all that shit. But
man,
then obviously fast forward, it's a lot more regime now in terms of just
the college. Is where you started really, understanding what you had to do correctly.
At least understanding that this is what a program does. You know what I'm saying? Like specific
Following
programs.
something, yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, okay, we had like 50-something qualifiers. We have like something. So you're like, oh, okay, this is what the qualifiers did. This is what the champions did. This is what all Americans did.
Yes.
So this is the program. That's the history. That's the culture. So you follow that if you decide to go there. Just like if you go to a school, you go here. You know what I mean? Just anything.
Was that wrestling in college?
That was wrestling in college.
And then that's when you got serious with it, freshman through senior year. Which year did you actually win the freestyle national championship?
That was after.
After college?
Yeah, it was after college.
Before fighting?
Yeah, that was when I was training for football, actually. So I was training with Ed for the first time.
So you get with Ed, and you're continuing to compete, and it was Ed the game changer as far as like where you saw.
Yeah, he was definitely the missing piece in terms of putting it all together because I came with the knowledge and context, but he's also coming with the knowledge too. We're meeting right here.
He's got the plan. Everybody needs a coach.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a coach. I just heard someone recently say, actually a boss I had recently he said some good things, and he says, even Michael Jordan had a coach, bro. Yeah, that's a good point. He's like, everybody should have a coach.
It's like saying someone is coachable, right? I hate when people say that. Like, it's something to, as a communication, you can talk to people so they can understand what you mean by saying, like, oh, he's coachable. But
I'll tell you, I understand that 100% after being a high school wrestling coach.
Right, there you
Some
go.
kids are coachable.
Yeah.
And some kids are not.
But I'm not going to pat you on the back for being coachable. You should be coachable. You are who you are when you got here. So when I walked into the wrestling room, there's an authority. There's my head coach. There's my assistant coach. There's how everybody, the hierarchy of the room.
Yes.
And how do you fit in? It's like the ecosystem.
There's the commander, there's the sergeant, and I am a soldier.
Exactly.
And dude, kids don't get that today.
That's what I'm saying. And it's a lot. It really does have a lot to do with the culture of certain sports like wrestling and things where it's like your dad's pushing you and your wrestling family and things like that. I didn't have none of that. My mom never went to one meet.
Self-chosen.
Yeah, I mean.
Wow.
One meet.
So, that's all, you know.
And I wasn't the first wrestler in my family in context of in America.
You said you had family that did it before, but your little brother was what? Your little brother chose to do it in youth?
Yeah, he wrestled for Winslow Township. And he did it based off of the strength of football as well.
Yeah, because usually football coaches are like, yo, you should wrestle. And usually wrestling coaches are like, yo, you should play football.
So
that's how good relationship works with high school football.
That's how you should be really diversifying.
Bro, they ain't even like that.
Right.
People
want to listen. I'm saying you want to be a specialist, but you're not understanding what it really means to be a specialist. That means you really have to be a perfectionist to the T.
Yes.
You can't make any mistakes, and guess who has to be accountable?
Yourself?
That's what you have to come out of my mouth to tell you to do that, unless it's going to give you some epiphany.
Yeah, man.
And you needed to hear it, and God told me to be here to tell you or something. Wow.
That's true. Yeah, you shouldn't even have to hear
what I'm saying?
Like,
you should have be like, yo, like everything I did, I thought like I knew I was going to get here, but it was like to envision it all and just the whole experience. I mean, I forgot I was even going to fight.
Well, that's the mindset part, right?
I forgot I was even going to fight.
And we've talked a lot about mindset, but just to tap on it again, you know, you start out as a young kid and you say, like, there's something in me that wants to fight. I relate to that. Then I'm going to take it a step further and get into wrestling. I'm successful. Wow. I'm working toward it. I picture myself doing well. I want to take it even further. I get into striking or boxing, right? I picture everything you've done, you probably couldn't help but envision yourself as a champion. Am I right?
Yep.
So there's people that are built like that, and then there's people that are built with too much self-doubt, which is I could never be a champion. I could never do that, right? And we don't know that. It's just, oh, I'm wrestling, I'm going to be a district champ. I'm going to be region champ. I'm going to, and if I'm not, I'm going to take it to them.
Lofty goals.
And then when we start fighting, right, we're like, I'm going to be a champion. Off the bat, no fights yet, I'm going to be an amateur champion. Then when you're an amateur champion, what do you say?
I want to be the pro champion. Right.
I'm going to be a pro champion.
Yeah, that's one.
In fact, I tell people when I got that belt, I was almost like sickly unsatisfied.
Hey,
isn't that?
Yeah, you know what's crazy?
I'm like,
I felt like
this is it.
Right.
Next.
Right.
We gotta go pro.
Very. I don't know if you see some of the pictures. Like, if there is. Oh, sure you call.
Yeah.
No, you good.
This is a busy man.
Yeah.
Oh, my girl Jane.
The same. Yeah.
Shit, tell you. You're talking to the bull right now. We got bull talks going on.
I'm just talking about. Hey, so you're on a podcast right now. Just understand, I'll call you a little later.
Ah, there you go.
All right.
We love you, Jane.
I love you too.
I'm gonna get her on here. Need a female jiu-jitsu
that's
girl.
That's a good mind to get in here.
So, So wait, 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 we say like, okay, you have all these you already have ambitions, and it's like now you're pro, you're already seeing sights on the championship, obviously, and then what's next? Big money. So what would you say your mindset is in a nutshell when you are outside of camp versus in camp? Is there a shift? Or are you kind of
the only thing now is that I do have now the acquired luxury to be able to market myself and do things and have that time to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Before I wasn't thinking about like sponsors and things like that.
Yeah.
But now when you see bread on the table and you're making money off of that, and a lot of people are not understanding what that really means until it happens. It's the same way where it's like, yeah, I want to be a champion, but you haven't been a champion before, so you would never know.
Yes.
Context. You can be around champions, but if you've never been a champion, you don't know.
You don't know yet.
You know what I'm saying? If you've never been number one, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So until, you can walk into the cage on your own volition, and you're getting paid off of yourself and not the environment, like the organization, that's a great feeling. And that's where I want to keep it. Until the point where now it's like, okay, now this is mutually beneficial. So if you're giving me your platform, and your platform has to be bigger than my platform in context, let alone it be something that's very conducive to what we're talking about, and it's a mutual thing.
Yes, you and the organization.
It's just the next level.
So the bigger name you become, that's when everybody goes back to Connor when they describe it, but you become so valuable that they are willing to almost partner with you, not employ you.
Yeah.
And you're on your way to do that, you know, as like the like a face of Ring of Combat per se. And we've all seen the faces of Ring of Combat generally then make that next leap. So I mean that's smart. It's a smart mindset to have. And then maybe my last question on mindset would be,
and my thing is that I have to make this clear.
Yeah.
I've made more money than all them guys within my sport and my human capital when it comes to that. So you've been the face of Ring of Combat, but you have not made more bread than me walking in there. And so that's where I'm getting at.
And it's not like it's for us. I feel like we have the option to, or the ability to make a lot of money yet, because I don't know about you, but it's never been about the money for me.
Yeah, that's what
I always just told people when if I get the fight, a pro fight, and we have a brawl, and I end up getting my hand raised, and now it's fight of the night.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's go. Yeah. And you get this big check laid in front of you because you just put it on the line. And that check to me is going to be like extra credit. I'm like, no way. I get paid for this?
I'm going to go off what you said in terms of the accolades, like getting certain accolades and be like, I'm not satisfied with that. You know what? Why you feel like that? Because it's the byproduct of who you are. It's the byproduct of the work that you put in. Like all the stuff that I've done is just the byproduct.
This is all going to be a byproduct.
People want to be the champion and be like, yeah, I got a belt.
Let me show this off.
Let me show it off, right? Let me post on social media. Let me be an MMA fighter, put my hand up so then a girl can click on my profile. That's what you guys want.
Yeah.
Then what happens after that, though? Because in all reality, they're going to go to the real number one individual.
Yeah.
You might be able to pull it off and do like this, and not just girls in general, just even, let's just say like a organization. They're like, oh, well, you're the guy, you're an MMA fighter, let me get you on the card, and you get fucking bodied. Yeah. Because you're not about it.
Because you weren't the real.
You weren't you weren't about the accolades per se, instead of just it being a byproduct of yourself and your human capital.
That all to me sums up something I heard recently, and I love it. And people are saying it a lot. You know, TikTok, Instagram has to ruin everything, but it's true. The man who loves Good. You don't want to. I'm trying to throw some videos out there, you know, just to get you know what I mean, like build marketing. Yeah. You know, I've been doing a lot. Yeah. That's why I have this podcast.
Right.
You know, because I talk to people like you. People want to hear that. They listen to me more. You know, I'm actually planning on commentating. If I didn't have my surgery this past weekend, I was going to commentate with Matt for Dead Serious. I plan on doing that. The byproduct
of Sam Buckley is that I'm on this podcast.
There you go.
So all the extra stuff is... It's icing on the cake, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
This is icing on the cake. Just getting having guys like you and Chris in my life is icing on a cake. Yeah. You don't even know. Because I've had friends, so-called friends in my life, in and out, disappear, whatever. But they ain't got my sex. I know. I texted Chris last night. I said, I know you don't like big sappy posts. I'm just going to send you a text. Yeah. And it was a big sappy text. But at the end it says, he said something back to me. He was like, every word means so much to me. I appreciate it so much. And, you know, I feel like someone looking at a third party could be like, these guys are so, like, corny.
You know, that is opinion, bro.
But, bro, this is a true friendship. And, like, I said to him, flyweight, bantamweight champs, I would take on 100 men with you. And he's like, 100, bro, we got the world.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I love that mindset.
Whoever wants to go against it.
Yeah, you want to step up against us?
Yeah, you want to do 10, it would be 20.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's so it's having that, like those bonds, it's just so valuable. It's icing on the cake. I forget where I was going to go with the mindset. Oh, I was going to say, the man who loves to walk will go further than the man who loves the destination. Will walk further than the man who loves the destination.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm so obsessed with this destination,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm going to be like, the whole trip there is going to be arduous and maybe I'm miserable during it. What if I just love the work?
Mm-hmm.
What if I just love cutting weight?
Right.
What if I just love the sparring with you guys? What if I just love every bit of it, and then it's like, oh, it's fight day. Now I get to put all this together.
Right.
Oh,
that's the
shit.
fun part, bro.
Hey, I made weight. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, and you're just,
That's
I'm
fun.
really trying to take that mindset into it. So while
Mhm.
this dude's miserable and overthinking,
Mm-hmm.
just enjoying the ride, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're here.
Simple.
I was never supposed to walk in this pro circuit if I didn't make that decision. If you didn't make that decision, you wouldn't have made that walk. Your name wouldn't be screened.
Let me say it like this: if I gave the power to opinions and other people's perception of myself, or even what they want from me in context, I would not be here.
Wouldn't be.
I would be a peanut farmer. I'd be
Peanut
a
farmer.
peanut farmer.
Yeah.
They would want me to be a peanut farmer or in prison,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Really, yeah.
They
Could
want
be,
me to
man.
be somewhere else.
I really think fighters are like, man, if we weren't fighting, we could be pretty bad criminals, you know?
Yeah.
Just like that mindset
Yeah.
of like that, like.
Just a tool in terms of the skill to be able to do something. It goes back to that militant perspective, where you see you will be more understanding of battle, like in a battle situation, even if you didn't get into battle in the military.
Yeah.
Compared to like someone that you.
Does right? Because you have this new understanding
Because you
of
have
it.
another understanding of it. There's another tier, another comprehension of
100%.
that.
Now, talking about understanding, I want to understand, like many people, the Torance diet.
The diet.
Way back, you told me, like, this was like maybe before my fourth, fifth fight. We were talking during one camp, and you're like, watch out for things with like red 40 in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always remembered that.
Yeah,
and I was like, and then I started paying attention. And there's some things that I've had. Obviously, my diet isn't great.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than most people's, but not good as like guys like you.
Mm-hmm.
You got pretty locked on. Everybody knows you like organic stuff, and try to avoid things like that. Can you explain like how you came to the diet you're at, and why you like it, why it works for you, rather than like, you know, I've experienced keto and carnivore and all these other ones that maybe people do for a short time. You kind of stick with this diet. What does it look like, and why? Why this diet?
I would say that, like, without putting a label on things, it's just like it is a very relevant tangent. Like when people say intermittent fasting, right? I've never called it anything besides what I've done.
Okay.
So if I didn't eat, it's because I had to go do something, and there was a whole day planned, and you automatically are intermittent fasting. So things like that, right?
Yeah.
Let alone like what you're predisposed to eating anyway. So initially, we would try to get as many calories as we could back in the day, just for football.
Bulk up.
So it's just like Wawa Sizzly, Sizzly.
Was it in the morning? Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
easily, those protein bars, things like that, just to get calories in, green tea, all that, right?
Yeah.
And then you start seeing like, damn, this aspect of it needs to be geared towards true performance. It's not just about one aspect of the game. So it's not just about like gaining weight
And being muscular.
and being muscular.
Yeah.
Like that. So when I started cutting weight on a time where like now I'm grinding my body in different ways and different aspects, especially in martial arts.
Yeah.
It's like I cut meat out.
Completely?
Yeah, I cut meat out.
Still to this day.
Yeah, only on the weekends.
Dude, most people men would look at you and be like, that dude must eat elk.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, elk on the weekend then, you feel me? But it's like lamb, things like that.
Okay.
But it's just like meat was like too much to work off.
Hurts the digestion?
Yeah, it's just like,
I felt that too.
sitting there. And it's not like,
I felt that
like for
too.
myself, I used to eat like a lot and then still be able to like snap in terms of the like
Workout?
playing the game. Yeah, work out, run the hills, do the
Always
the
been a problem
footwork,
for
things
me,
like
bro.
that. No issue with me. So even if it was a problem to the point where it's coming up, you would never see me be like, and throw it up.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yo, there's no reason for me to do that.
But
You know what I'm saying?
I know, GSP had force-fed himself for the Bisping fight. And said he had so many problems that came from that.
Yeah.
Over not being able to digest and stomach issues.
Like we used to go to sleep. We used to go to sleep eating, and I remember feeling that shit all the way up to my throat because we literally freshman year of high school, like 103, 108 pounds.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, one of those.
So that's what I'm saying. So we really like we got to eat all the time if we really want to snap at the next level. So that's the vision.
Yeah.
It is really that goal to do that.
Maybe at that age, but as we get older, and it's like I can't just force feed myself.
Yeah, you can't.
It has
do
to
that.
be calculated.
Yeah. So if you're going to force feed yourself, it's not just about the emphasis on the word force feed. It's about getting the food that you need to get to the goal that you're trying to get to and achieve.
But plus some. So if
Well,
you
plus
know,
some,
we
right.
know we all have a certain number of calories we need to sustain our body weight every
Mhm.
day. But then when people want to lose, you subtract 500 or more and say this is what you have a day. When you want to gain, you say here's your number plus 5 or whatever, and 500, and this is what you need to have every day to gain. Now that's just a simple nutritionist way of doing it. But when you get down to brass tacks, it's like how many of that is carbs, fats, and protein?
Right.
And then what are you eating for those carbs, fats, and protein? If you're eating ramen to get the carbs in, it's still you're not going to look like a bodybuilder.
Right. And number one, though,
So,
is subjective. It's subjective to your own body.
because you might have a better
Right.
metabolism.
Your
You
metabolism.
might have,
It's like a calorie. It's just like
Okay.
it's just how you expend that energy. So when someone's like, "Yo, you can't eat that because it has 500 calories," or if I eat that, I'm gonna be like that. It was like depends on how you expend that energy.
and we're always expending the energy.
We're always expending.
We're always
that
burning
energy.
it, even
Right.
just right here,
And
right now.
even then, it's still subjective because we have two different bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Your brain needs carbs as well. So the way your brain works is like you still need to get food to fuel your brain,
100%.
let alone your body.
So did you have like a nutritionist or just you, because you're knowledgeable enough, run your numbers and say I'm going to have this many fats, carbs, and protein a day?
Yep.
So you're sticking to that, and you're doing it organically, and you're doing it on a low meat diet. Wow. Okay.
Because the things like greens and whole foods, and it was someone that it was during the college period, like transferring to Temple at that point. Someone I really trusted with like my food and things like that at a point. And you know the individual, but they were like, you need to really like understand what you're eating and what it does for your body. So you need to be able to assess that. So I started assessing it like specifically like on Saturdays at SJBJJ.
Okay.
And SJBJJ, I would treat that like my fight day. So if I didn't train on Friday, and I'd be the only day I didn't train that week,
Okay.
I would treat that like, okay, like I'm going to get nutrients in my body the first time of the week. Because usually I'm just, like before, through that whole streak of fights, I wasn't drinking enough water.
Okay.
In context. And that was on purpose.
That's why I see you carrying around the big thing
Yeah,
all the
that's
time.
why now, right. That's why now
Yeah.
it's just like, it's a reason to do that. Let alone you can't do that. Like if I wasn't me, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people can't do that.
No, most people can't
You know
run
what I'm
off
saying?
of no
That's why
water.
it's like people go
Yeah.
to a training session and they're like, yo, I gotta get something to eat. It's like boo-hoo, right? Boo-hoo. Oh,
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
eat something.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? It's just like,
No, get through the workout.
right, get through the,
Yeah.
What was the objective before you got here? Was it to eat or was it to work out?
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
I know.
So
It's fine.
that's I guess how far it goes in terms of it's even the mindset and just like I guess that predisposition of how you can do something without fuel. Like just fighting like dude dead serious, right? That showcased a lot as a fighter
100%. Yeah.
because it's same day weigh-ins.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
brain is drier than a motherfucker, and I'm getting hit as well as
Yeah.
I have to think on my feet, and I still have to perform.
Yep. I feel you. That's why making 130 was a great thing for me. You know, that catch weight, right? Because I fought all the way up to 140 and against 45ers, and it's like you see how much more energy I have and powerful. And then at 130 and 125, I will not have the same punch. And shouldn't be able to take the same punch, technically. But when you do it right and you have the day before weigh-ins, that's why I said, well, when I'm pro, I'll have day before weigh-ins.
Right.
We all know that. Now, to do 130 the day of, man, you know, someone else looking in could have said, bro, you look a little skinny.
Yeah, you look.
Bro, you look a little dehydrated.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't hit hard, but it don't take much.
Yeah, they definitely
So,
don't take much,
but that was a test.
Yeah, it was
like
a
you
test.
said earlier, you have to put yourself in these uncomfortable situations and experience things to have the knowledge that yes, it worked or no, it didn't. And the fact of the matter is, I was willing to make 130.
Yeah.
You're the same way.
Yeah.
I'm willing to make this low weight, walk in, get rocked in the face by someone who probably shouldn't be able to knock me out, be flatlined in front of all my friends and family, just so I can know. Well, maybe I won't do that next
Yeah.
time. Like,
right.
like we're sick.
Right,
We're
bro.
sick, dude.
Yeah.
But it worked out. I took good hits, and it's like, cool. Now we're gonna go from there.
Yeah.
I am gonna stop this because I don't want to go over an hour. I want to finish up with a new thing. So
Okay.
we're gonna hit this. And